Welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast with your host, Chris Anderson. In this show, Chris and his guests will share their knowledge and experience on how to go from zero to successful entrepreneur. They have built their businesses from scratch and are now ready to give back to those who are just starting. Let's get ready to learn, grow, and elevate our businesses. And now, your host, Chris Anderson.
All right, welcome back to another recording of the Elevate Media Podcast. I'm Chris Anderson, your host. Today, on your journey as an entrepreneur, a lot of the times your self gets put on the back burner. Your health gets put on the back burner. And so today we've actually brought on a guest, an expert in the CBD and hemp field, to share some controversy, some things that are going on behind the scenes within that industry, what it is, but how it can benefit you naturally as you're trying to build your business, because, you know, health is wealth and you're the captain of the ship. And if you go down, the whole thing goes down. So we want to make sure our health is always priority. And sometimes that's hard. So excited to have Inesa on the show today. Inesa is all about CBD and hemp, an expert in this. So Inesa, welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here today. And I was smiling when you said it's going to be really controversial. And that's exactly how it's going to be. Just be ready to hear things that you probably never heard before.
Yeah, and I'm excited to dive into this as well. With my background being in health and wellness, like the natural ways are always something I'm intrigued with, and kind of digging into the, pharmaceuticals on my own, like kind of seeing all that is kind of eye-opening. So first, let people know, like, what got you into dealing with CBD and hemp first?
It's a pretty long story, but I'll try to make it super short. And even short version might appear to be long, but I was just being like all of us, living a life, trying to get my stuff together, especially when I came in the United States. I was age of 21 and, nothing was given to me here. I went through quite a few challenges. In fact, I have a few companies that really want to create a documentary on my life because they feel like it's really interesting for them. So for me, I feel like it's just life lessons and God in choosing between the dark and light and all that stuff. So long story short is I came in the United States, age of 21. I met someone that I fell in love with, and I said, I'm just going to stay because of that relationship. It wasn't that easy. Of course, he tried to convince me how amazing our future is going to be. And of course, that future did not appear to be so amazing. And I got trapped, and by that time, I lost my status in the country, which is legal status. As you know, like, it's not easy to be illegal here if you want to do things right. If you want to follow the law and things like that. So, it was not easy. And I also had order protections and things like that. So I had to go through a lot of life challenges, I would say, that taught me a lot. But at the same time, my health never was good, even when I lived back home in Lithuania. But my health got really bad to the point where I could not function, could not leave emergency rooms every couple of weeks. And I spent all my money in ER because I had no insurance as someone who's unknown or not identified in this country. So with that being said, after 10 years going on medications, 10 years of seeing doctors and lots of pills, antibiotics, and not getting any better, in fact, getting worse, and quitting on my life situation, whatever I was going through that time, I was really in pretty devastating health conditions. I could not function. And I said, these doctors, these visits that I'm spending my very hard work dollars are actually not helping me. It's actually getting worse. So I started questioning the system and simply talking to people around, and people say, why don't you do this? And when somebody suggests me to do something, I just would go online and look into whatever. So what happened is I started changing my lifestyle. I started changing everything, what I do about my sleep, the way I function, the way I eat, what kind of waters do I drink. So that led me to, within 1 year, to full health transformation. And within 1 year, I never been on any kind of type of pill for the rest of my life up to today, which has been over 10 years now. I've been very healthy. I don't even know what disease are. But so the plant medicine or the plant world or the food and, that planted a seed in my brain and my heart that it can help me, because it did help me. From completely miserable, barely walking, barely functioning, barely couldn't even breathe, kidney infections, UTIs, lung situations. Like, oh my gosh, like I went from all these conditions and pills, living. I was a queen of medications, and I looked like I'm 75-year-old and I was 24-year-old. And it was like, what's going on? So that little change got me so excited. I went all in. And it planted the seed in my brain. And I said, I believe in this route more than anything, because it did change my life. But that wasn't enough to say, I'm going to change the world, that kind of type of thing, where I'm on a mission today. But that wasn't enough. So I still was gathering my life together, putting all my stuff together, which was a lot to go through. And, what happened is, finally, after 5 years, 4 years, I settled everything where my life is really like living American dream, stable job, building my other money on the side, like really becoming the best in what I do that time. And with that being said, like having finally my car, my apartment, my legal status in the country, like I feel like, oh my gosh, I can fly, I can meet my family again 10 years later. So, and I said, this is it. My health is perfect. I have this perfect life, basically on a piece of paper after settling. And I said, this is American dream. And this is what America is about. Is that I'm not serving any purpose. That what I should be doing now. Should I go and party every weekend? Or like, what is this whole life is about? So I started questioning the purpose in life. What is my purpose? What I need to do here? Like what I need to accomplish on this planet, because I was truly not satisfied with the internal feeling. Even on piece of paper, my life looked amazing. But the internal was telling me, Inesa, something isn't right. You're not fulfilling your mission. So I went on my knees. I just prayed and asked God. I said, please tell me what's my purpose in life. Please tell me what I'm supposed to do. And after 1 year begging him to tell me what to do, what's my purpose, I got my magical phone call. And it was my mother. And she still is back home in Lithuania. And never going to forget that morning. That was the life-changing morning for myself, for my family, and the world. She said she had cancer, 6 months left to live. And she said, I'm dying. And as she is speaking, I am having tears of joy and literally telling my mom how amazing is her news. And she's like trying to repeat again, because she probably thought I misunderstood something. And I said I was praying so hard for God to tell me what's my purpose in life. And I just got all the answers right now, right here. And she's like, are you praying for God for me to die? It's like, no. She couldn't understand what's going on, poor lady. So she literally decided, because it was 7:00 in the morning. So she said, I need to FaceTime you, because she knows as a kid I used to sleepwalk and sleep talk. So she thought maybe I'm doing the same thing, because she knows I'm not taking drugs, no medications, no alcohol. So she knows mentally I'm a very stable person. So she knows that's not a mental situation. So maybe I'm sleeping and talking and walking. So I got to FaceTime my daughter. So she FaceTime me and she says, Mom, I said, I'm not sleeping. I said, I know what you're doing. I said, I'm making my shake right now. I'm about to go work out. And I know what you're saying. I said, I just want to tell you this. Your cancer right now is changing the world. She said, how? I said, Mom, I always knew cancer is curable. I just never knew how. And because it happened to you, I will travel the world. I'll do whatever it takes. I will pick every possible cancer cure. I am 1000% sure we're gonna be able to beat your cancer, and naturally. And with that knowledge, I'm gonna bring the world back where they're supposed to be, where people walking cancer free. And I said, you literally the answer to my prayers. I said, I need to work on this cancer thing. That's it. There's nothing else I need to. And I didn't even bother to think I'm not a doctor or I'm not a scientist. At that point, even I almost became one at this point. But with that being said, being so confident and being so fulfilled when your mom tells you she's on cancer diagnosis, and being so content, full, and like, this is all good. Like, this is amazing. So yes, I was a little bit nervous in the beginning because where I'm starting, what I'm doing here, like where I'm going now. All of what I knew, I need to go back to Lithuania, which is the same day. I called my boss. I said, I'm leaving. I said, I saw first available flight, 7 p.m., leaving from O'Hare, Chicago, back home to Lithuania through Poland. And that's what I did. I jumped on the first flight. The same day I left the country, never slept again until today. I spent 27,000 hours on cancer, on worldwide research, worked with the most genius brains in the world. I learned a lot. I helped hundreds and thousands of people to be healthy today and cancer-free. And thank God to my mom's situation. And yes, we never done chemo, no radiation, and cancer today is definitely my passion, my bread and butter. When I learned everything about cancer, I learned the corruption and industry and real science, not the science we want to show you, but the real science. And when I learned what is the chemotherapy after investigating doctors, interviewing doctors, recording doctors on my phone, traveling the world and meeting them, like picking the science, picking the evidence, talking to the cases that have been cured and not, and understanding the difference, and reading every possible book out there. So I was like, this is it. I knew for a fact. And that's exactly what happened. So I actually was able to quit my job and start helping people. And I helped a lot of people. So because I helped a lot of people, funny part is never even had a website for that consulting company, not one day in my life. And I was always booked 3 years in advance. If somebody had autism, somebody had anything, diabetes. So got to the point where, yes, I grew my name and because of the evidence, because you can't, I tell people, I don't care about your science. I don't care what PhD, what doctor you are in. If you can cure any disease or any possible disease, even flu, or you don't know where the disease is coming from, then the problem is not about your diploma, it's about you. I don't care what medical school you're coming from. I had a beautiful young girl. She's a doctor in Mayo Clinic, beautiful, precious angel. You can tell God gave her bigger mission. I'm not going to mention her health condition, but she's in this point where she came from emergency room in my house, in my hyperbaric chamber, and she is tearing up. Last night, I'm actually getting interviewed on our podcast. She's upstairs doing her chamber, and she's in tears. And she says, Inesa, I don't know what the stem cells are. She doesn't know the regular things that function on a daily basis. She had to Google this entire time while she's in the hyperbaric chamber, what is the hyperbaric chamber? So the things like even oxygen, which is like such a common thing, it's not even on the public information. Like the doctor's not even aware. This poor little thing last night. So she had to Google, and she's a doctor in Mayo Clinic. So youngest, beautiful little angel. So you can tell how, again, I am pro science. But just be honest with me, don't push one agenda to make money. Let's focus on people and results. So that's what I said. When you produce results, nobody can deny you. I don't care who you are. Nobody can ever deny you because results speaks louder than words. So, and that's how I became the holistic health coach. It's funny they call me coach, but I'm really not a coach. I guess we help people transform lives from absolutely miserable to absolutely best, and in very critical stages sometimes, stage 4, stage 5. So that became my field, that became my bread and butter, that became my passion. And that became where I started fighting for people and humanity, because I knew the pain. I knew the pain they're going through. So, and as a holistic healer, someone who works in a holistic medicine, I always have to look for quality of products, because I learned the science and politics behind the supplement industry or herbal medicine industry or technology and frequencies and nano and all that stuff. So I said, I need to know what's in those CBD products, because more questions I ask these companies that are representing CBD companies, which is a long time ago, because now we have our own brand for over 5 years. But it's been a while, but these companies are still running the market. They're still the largest on the market. And I said, let me ask them questions. But like, I was talking more like inequality and how it's going to affect your body. So it turned into more questions I ask, more questions I have. And that's, I said, this is not a good time. And I know essentials of human endocannabinoid system. I can't wait, by the way, educate audience about this. When people are going to learn today about their own endocannabinoid system, they're going to be fired up. Let's just get there in a minute. So I know essentials of the human endocannabinoid system, and I know how critical it is to fire up that endocannabinoid system. And if you don't, you're going to be pretty miserable. So, and I know that federally it's illegal for us to even learn about this, because they don't want you to talk about this on mainstream media, which is they never allowed me to. They don't want you to doctors to have this in the school systems. They don't want in the medical school systems. So
why is that? Why don't you think they want that out there?
Why? It's very simple answer. Like, human endocannabinoid system is one of the most essential things to regulate your entire body, hundreds of systems. We have these receptors, millions of receptors. It's called endocannabinoid system. And then we have those, we produce our own, these cannabinoids. We basically produce almost the same thing as what the hemp plant produces in our body. But they somehow forgot to tell us that. And in fact, they don't want me to tell you that, because it's not illegal. It's absolutely not legal. I'm sorry. So, because if you empower your own endocannabinoid system, you regulate your entire body, and you're going to be off the pills in the next 3 months. And if you're going to be off the pills in the next 3 months, we're going to lose America's GDP.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? The problem is, it's not about not finding the cures. The problem is how we can actually create more money. So this country is created on people being sick. So don't always blame your doctor, because the poor guy doesn't even help himself. He's been brainwashed, groomed in these medical schools. He's been trained to become a drug dealer. I'm sorry, but that's, the doctor's not even allowed to promote vitamin D or C. There's actually doctors from Harvard are today been kicked out from this country. And I talked to them. I did. They've been kicked out from this country as a terrorist, because as an MD from Harvard, they're promoting vitamin C, vitamin D, supplements, and things like that. So that tells you, if you're a Harvard doctor that was born and raised in this country as an American, was kicked out from this country for promoting what's good for you, instead drugs, and that doctor became a terrorist, I mean, that tells you how bad things are. Yeah, we definitely,
I think if we could heal ourselves, which, I mean, through plants and different means, like you're talking the hyperbaric chamber, things like that, the pharmaceutical industry would be hurting for cash. And I think, it's funny, like looking into that a little bit more just from my end, like, and I believe it was Rockefeller who, had all the oil, and then that translated over into being able to create medicine and things of that nature, which then, it was just all controlled to keep people, needing more, basically. And So, what other corruption, like what other thing that people might not even think about out there, or how can they even go about getting into this natural field to improve their lives without, all these doctors?
You love listening to podcasts, but have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Maybe you want to build a brand, grow your business, or are looking for an excuse to talk about your favorite hobby. Whatever your reason for making a podcast, Buzzsprout is the place to start. Since 2009, Buzzsprout has helped over 300,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout walks you step by step through the whole process and will give you powerful tools to start, grow, and monetize your podcast. Ready to get started? Click the link in the show notes to get our free step-by-step guide to starting your podcast today.
We offer an amazing program, and I was also begging out to tell me how to make it more available to more people, because I used to always work one person at a time, max 5 people a month, and that gives me full-time work, because it does take a lot of time to take care of one person if you truly do take care of them. So I was begging God, like, what I need to do. We can't do this anymore, because I feel bad sometimes for people saying, no, you have to wait for another year, because there's no way I can fit you anywhere. It's like, I have no time. I'm physically not capable unless I'm going to quit all my sleep completely. So, and I already have 17, 18 hour schedule a day, 6-7 days a week. I just started finally taking my day off on the weekends for 6 years later, which just never had one before. I don't even know what the day off is. Even Christmas, I used to work until my family quits on me. So, with that being said, I think there's a lot to learn. First of all, there's a lot to learn. And as I said, the supplement and cannabis industry is not regulated unless you investigate these people the way I did, which just takes a lot of time and lots of money. You will know better for yourself, or you can hear from the horse's mouth, which is myself. I'm not saying I'm perfect in everything, but at least I did the homework to know exactly what's out there, because I was terrified to put anything in my body, in my mom's body, or anyone's body, because we have amazing reputation based on results, and I can't allow some supplement company or some CBD company to fail me, because they decided to run their business with no integrity. And when you find out that 99% of CBD companies actually running their business with no integrity, then I realize I'm in a big problem. The whole country runs today CBD business with no integrity. CBD is not even part of the plant. CBD doesn't even exist on the plant. There is no such thing as CBD. CBD is a drug, and not single one person even knows about this. CBD, if you're going to go on the smart Google that is controlled by very smart people, they're going to tell you that CBD is actually a drug for epilepsy. It's called Epidiolex. So everybody thinks this whole CBD is coming directly from the plant. So they forgot to tell you that CBD is a drug and is completely controlled substance. Not yet, but it's going to be in any minute, because it started happening this year. When people say, so Inesa, wait a minute, like they always confused about THC and CBD, and now it's CBDA, you're talking about another thing. The way we know, you can't patent nature. Can you go and patent spinach today? No. Can you go patent avocados? No. Because it's in natural form. Anything that's nature based on America's law or world's law, you're not supposed to patent these things. You can't. It belongs to all of us. And if they patent CBD, that means it's not in natural form. And that's what got me on those investigations. When I learned that the CBD is completely patented, I started scratching my head. I said, so what is in the plant? So I started investigating these plants. I flew all over the country, met the farmers, studied the structure of the plant, sent it to laboratories to test what in these plants, to figure out, besides finding mold and metals and other deadly substances, I realized there is no CBD in the plant. There's a CBDA. And the CBDA is actually 1,000 times stronger, more powerful, and is original version of and the compound of the plant. So I'm going to summarize right now. If you take the plant raw version of the plant from the
Which
soil.
Which is hemp, correct?
It's hemp.
Okay.
Yes, we're talking about hemp, and I'll actually explain the difference between hemp and cannabis.
Perfect.
So if you take the raw hemp plant, there is no THC. I'm sorry to make you disappointed that you can't kill your brain. And
Right.
there is no CBD. There's only other compounds they call THCA and CBDA. THCA does not make you high and doesn't cause any psychoactive reaction. And CBDA also doesn't make you high. So what is CBDA? It's the original version of the plant that is more powerful, more stronger, and more effective on your endocannabinoid system. And if it's more effective on your endocannabinoid system, that means you're going to have faster, amazing results to be healthy again and say goodbye to your pills.
And this is what you use to help your mom, right?
That was one of the substances.
One of the things, one of the natural things.
If people say, go ahead.
Like, it has a lot of benefits. What are some of those other benefits that it has if you were able to get that CBDA, the good stuff for you? What can it do for you?
Magical. Just the way your body does it for you when you're born. And you have your own endocannabinoid system that produces those little cannabinoids, which is a little bit different form, but they're like cannabinoids. So what they do for you, they control your entire well-being. So, for example, what I know for a fact, we helped people with inflammation. You can have absolutely inflammation to the point where you can't walk on your feet. And you take the product, you see results. People with sleep, people with any kind of type of imbalances. Because what happens is, and I'm trying to teach people to understand one thing, stop thinking like a doctor. Because they not been designed to think certain way. They've been designed to think the way what's benefiting only one thing and only one source, which is pharmaceuticals. Why do we see that? Because when something is broken in your system, or let's say if you have an issue with your brain or your memory or something like that, CBDA is gonna help you. Absolutely yes, but you need to stop thinking about your symptom in your brain. Why? Because your brain is not produced in your brain. Your brain is produced in your gut. And the reason gut is not working properly, most likely your liver doesn't filter. Most likely you have fatty liver, you have a spleen issues, or you have a stomach acid issues because stomach acid doesn't break things down and then causes more acidity. My question is, everybody thinks about, you see how we went from brain to the stomach acid.
Yep.
So then I say, this is going to help you. It's going to help you systematically because it's the only one product can help you systematically is literally our product. And I'm not joking. It's going to target your spleen, your liver, your kidneys, your brain, your vision, your hair growth. It's going to target every single part in your body, including your central nervous system. It's going to empower all of them. But that's the whole point. You never want to work on the one symptom. You always want to work on the system. That's why we never lost a case. That's why nobody ever today can beat my success track record. Not a single one person, never met. Because when I was so overwhelmed with my clients and the people I work with, I tried to hire a doctor or somebody, a holistic doctor, anybody who can help me to take a load of my work. Not a single one of them agreed to do it. I had a guy who worked for Dr. Mercola for many, many years. And I said, can you please take some of those cases? But you have to make sure that all of those people are satisfied with results. And when I shared with him what kind of cases do I take, he says, I don't take such a heavy cases. Those are heavy duty. Those are too dangerous. It's that's the whole point. You gotta take those cases and you gotta you have to help them to get better. So nobody could help me. That's why I created Regenesis 369. So we finally can take people on a massive scale instead of 5 at a time. So with that being said, your essentials is your central nervous system, is your endocannabinoid system. And if you take pharmaceutical drugs like CBD that are loaded with mold and mercury and aspergillus and multiple other deadly microtoxins, which is there's no regulations to keep those companies accountable. That's why I spent tens of thousands of dollars on other brand testings, because every time I used to test their brand, I used to find absolutely red, positive for this, positive for that. I called these companies. I said, you're positive for mold? Who cares? It's only in parts per billion. In parts per million, we're still good and we still have a USDA logo. I said, why you worry about USDA logo? Because we know these bottles are loaded with substances that actually is going to damage people for long term and eventually is going to kill them. It's like, oh, well, but we have logo. We have USDA certification. So I said, that doesn't satisfy me. So we have a major problem because this industry is not regulated.
Right.
That means these brands and companies can put whatever they wish to in these bottles, and nobody's going to keep them accountable because there's no guidelines. Unless you're crazy about people and passionate to help people, then you're going to create your own safety guidelines like we did in Nestle's hemp. And there is no education. As of today, I'm still not allowed to go on mainstream media and educate you on your own endocannabinoid system that's been discovered 40 years ago by Dr. Meshulam from Israel. And this is the science that no one can deny. This is not my science. I just learned from the best. So this person, multi-Nobel Prize winner, he discovered this thing for us. He discovered, wait a minute, we have something in our bodies that if we empower because we lose it. Now, I think children lose their endocannabinoid system by age 18 or 20. The production in endocannabinoid system, that means you become deficient of this. And when you become deficient of this specific thing that I'm holding in my hands, that means your system is gonna start falling apart, and it's gonna pop up as a symptom for the brain or the symptom for your gut. You're gonna see the smart doctor that has actually been groomed by pharmaceutical companies, and this doctor is gonna give you a pill instead empower your endocannabinoid system.
Yeah, a lot of times I feel like, and again, no fault to them because this is how they've been taught. They've been, led on their path as doctors, but like, it's just a Band-Aid. It's just let's make the symptoms feel better. So you think you're getting healthier, but there's no real underlying cause that's being treated a lot of the times. And it's the same, like, I've looked into a little bit, with cancer and, the telomeres and stem cells and things like that, and like fasting and all these things that we can do naturally. Like, it's just fascinating that, and kind of irritating that we don't learn about this stuff. Like, I went to school for athletic training, and in anatomy, physiology, chemistry, we didn't learn about any of this stuff. It was, just this is how the body worked, but we never were told about the endocannabinoid systems. None of that. And none of these like natural, quote unquote, natural remedies, like how the body works with oxygen and stem cells and telomeres. Obviously, you might hear more about that when you go into medical school, but they probably just high level over it kind of. So it's an interesting, there's a lot out there if people are listening and like actually start digging into like natural ways to take care of yourselves. It's really you can get down some deep rabbit holes with the corruption and then what there is out there to help yourselves.
You're absolutely right. And I really want people to understand this thing. Because I'm pretty aggressive because I'm tired of BS. I'm sorry. Like, I am really tired. I just want people to be healthy, and I want the justice, and I can't handle anymore the lies, because when you just live your regular life and you need to pop this pill and see the doctor once a year, for you, it's different. When I live this daily, when people come to me, when they had Mayo Clinic, when I had all these different doctors or Northwestern, you name it. I work with athletes myself too, by the way. So when you see how miserable they've been dragged all over the world and there's still no cure, there's still no nothing, just like this girl last night. I met her second time in my life, and she is a young doctor in Mayo Clinic. Okay. Everything that I taught her last night and right after hyperbaric chamber, she had no clue what I was talking about. And Mayo Clinic is actually labeled as the best medical facilities and schools in the world. And I have this little doctor as, again, she's the most precious. She's literally with tears in her eyes. She says, Inesa, I want to help people. I believe in this more than anything, but I'm so stuck because now I just got this Mayo thing and da-da-da. And I'm like, so you see what I'm saying? Wait a minute. She's not making millions yet. From the moment she's going to start making millions, she's going to get too stuck because now she has car loan. She has 2 kids. Now she's responsible to report for her kids. Now it's even, thank goodness she's still single and she's still young and everything. But when you have all the family responsibilities and everything, you are really stuck. Because a lot of decisions you make in your life based on the situation in your family. So, and then you end up being where you are because it's comfortable. I never won't forget one of my friends, and again, I'm still surrounded with a bunch of doctors, but all the doctors I work with, including some of them in daily basis, all of them are quit their medical field and ripped off their medical diplomas, send it to the medical school, said, thank you, you taught me how to kill people. So, but they had to have a guts to do that. Those are very, very noble people. Those are not regular doctors, okay? So what I'm trying to say is I'm not angry for some reason. I am angry because I see people being miserable. While when we do our programs, and I tell people all the time, if you don't feel like a superstar, I don't care what condition you have, in 2 weeks in our program, I'll pay you triple, first of all, for wasting your time with me. The second is for actually paying all the money you paid in the program. And the third thing, for anything else you want to send you on vacation from to relax your brain. Because you're never supposed to see no results. If your body is getting tools to heal, the right tools, you need to see results no matter how chronic you are in 2 weeks. Right. If you don't see that, I'm sorry, you're on the wrong path. And the sad news is, now I don't know a single doctor on this planet who produce you any type of results in 2 weeks where you can be off your pills in 2 weeks. I don't know anybody. And that's why I get upset, because if you see they just hook you on these drugs and you become a customer for life, and if you quit the drugs, then you have more problems, because now you have all these symptoms and they put you on the labels and tells you. So again, it's a vicious cycle, and it makes me upset because I've been miserable. My family was diagnosed. And now what I see on a daily basis after so many years being in this field, talking to the doctors, traveling the world. I worked in Mexico clinics. I've been all over the world. I've been all over the world with this topic. This is my life. This is my passion. This is what God wants me to do. And that's why I'm upset, because I stand for the justice, and I stand for people, and I stand for you to be free from any government agendas.
Yeah, and it's a powerful thing you're doing, and I think it's needed. I think I'm thankful for you to being on our podcast and all the others you're getting out there to share this message in a way that they're trying to stifle on mainstream media. So I hope you continue this journey and stay safe. And again, appreciate you being on our show. If we can kind of wrap this episode up, and we could keep going, obviously, and dig into even more of this. But what would be 3 things that you would want to leave with people as we wrap up this episode, Inesa?
There's many more than 3. I wish I can do 33 things, because I think 33 things should be essential ones. The one thing what really stresses me when I see people, and I take things personal because it really hurts me, seeing people killing themselves slowly, is the CBD industry is the same as coffee industry. There's no regulations. Okay. So you can do whatever you want. But I see people drinking coffee on an empty stomach, and the coffee is full of mold that today, at least in Illinois, they don't even have insurance companies for the lawsuits for mold anymore because there's too much mold health conditions. Like almost all of us loaded with mold. Doctor's not going to check you for, and you're going to have neurological issues, asthma, you're going to have cancer, you can have all that stuff. So when I see people paying money in Starbucks, especially on empty stomach, do you know what essentials are empty stomach? When you sleep, they also don't teach you that in medical school. When you sleep, you produce a brand new cells. Those cells are they're so responsible for you to keep your telomeres long, which is biological age, live as long as you wanted to. Not as long as your government told you, but as long as you wanted to. We used to live forever. They forgot to mention that fact too, just the way they forgot about endocannabinoid system. So what happens, you produce those cells. And those cells, when you sleep, when you get up in the morning, they sit in only one spot in your body. Only one. It's your gut. Mm-hmm. So when you take acidic, moldy coffee on empty stomach, you kill and wipe off all these cells that were supposed to keep you through the day, fight, empower your immunity, fight for disease, so you can be happy and healthy and don't even feel that your body, the genius body, is fighting for something, as long as you have an army of those cells. But I see most Americans right now, they get up in the morning and they said, let me do this faster and kill myself. And first thing they do is drink the coffee. So I please, that industry is not regulated. If you test the coffee the way I did, these coffee products are loaded with mold. So you have to make sure you do test lab results in parts per billion, not parts per million, because your body functions in parts per trillion. So be aware of your coffee, please, because that's going to kill you faster. Because God's going to give you those beautiful cells in the morning. They're sitting in your gut. Longer you sleep, more you produce of those cells. They're responsible for your brain, for your mood, for your heart, for your everything. Stop killing yourself. Number one note, please. So number two note, I would say, don't allow anyone to tell you what to do with your health. Don't allow anyone to tell you. If the doctor tells you something and he gives you a pill, God bless this person, but ask them how many people they cured of the disease. I bet you they can't even say the 5 or 3, because they're going to tell you how many people they hooked on drugs. So when the doctor tells you something, the doctor is not a God. Doctors' families and husbands and wives are dying today, and children, they don't have a cure for themselves. So you become in charge of your own life, okay? But don't allow anyone, even me, question me. Don't allow me to tell you what to do. Not single one person should be in charge over your health. And the third thing, what I would say is, if you're not going to take your health seriously right now, you're going to regret in 2 years from now. Because everything what's going on in the world right now is against so much the natural health, or for you to be healthy, where they try and wipe off every possible law right now, where they're trying to ban superfoods, they're trying to change completely the food industry at the moment. It's happening. It's my world. I live and breathe in this. At the moment, and later on, if you decided to be healthy, I'm sorry, but most likely you're not going to have an option to be healthy. You will decide it. I mean, it's going to be too late, because we really have a lot of bad stuff happening behind the scenes right now. And it's actually not that behind the scenes. If you read, it's all published documents. Of course, not going to be in mainstream media. You have to go dig in, and the laws are passing through, and find these documents yourself. It's absolutely a nightmare right now. All the food is getting taken away from you. Supplements, food, minerals, everything. And if you want to get better later on, it's probably going to be too late.
Well, I think those are 3 good ones to end with. And like I said, those could all be their individual episodes. But Inesa, we really appreciate you, again, coming on here and just being so transparent of what's going on, what you're seeing, in the health and wellness field, and what's not being shared with us, but what you're sharing with us now. so we can make better choices going forward. So again, thank you so much for being on the Elevate Media podcast today.
Be healthy and be safe.
Awesome. And make sure you guys are listening to this. Go, follow Inesa. Inesa, actually, let's take a step back. Where can people connect with you and find out more about what you do?
It's actually very easy. We have an amazing customer support. This girl is so passionate about each of you. It's absolutely all our team members. I've been blessed because they would do anything for humanity. So yeah, if you go on Inesa's Hemp, which is NESAS, nesashemp.com, you can reach out to me. I mean, not me directly, but my team, and ask any questions about the product or services or anything. Anything. We truly are there for you for any type of kind of question. We'll get back to you. And we have a team that cares about your family. So nesashemp.com is truly the best way to connect with us at the moment.
So everybody, make sure you get connected with Inesa and her team, and just check out everything they're doing to better humanity with these products and the education they're putting out there. Take your health into your own hands. Learn about the body. Learn about what's out there naturally to help you. And like Inesa said, don't just let one person dictate or take control of your health. Do it for yourself. So share this episode with somebody who might be struggling with their health, who might need to take control of that, so we can help more people together by doing that. So, but until next time, go out there, continue to elevate your lives, elevate your businesses, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the Elevate Media Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. See you in the next episode.